Hi. Hey, Elsa. You're the first one to come to the party. How are you, darling? Welcome, everybody. Well, Elsa and the ones that come after. Uh, we are going to wait just a minute. I see Elsa connected more than half an hour ago, so probably there was a confusion with the time, and probably she's not around the computer right now. So, oh, my hair. Oh, my hair. Mickey, how are you, honey bunny? Left. Oh, I'm back. Ooh. So, I am going to, in a few minutes, I am going to post a link for those who want to participate. We can see your faces. Baby Sherry, my baby, how are you, sweetheart? Who is there? It's Sherry. I know it's you. I know it's you. You are the only one person that has like 4 or 5 different handle names, and I know it's. I lost track of them, but I recognize you when I see you. How are you, Mickey? How is Marble? As I was saying, probably Elsa didn't realize the change of time or something. I don't know, something. So we're going to give her some time to show up. It seems like she's connected because otherwise we wouldn't see her name. So, Sherry, how are you? Did you go with your sister to find a motorhome for her? Hey, Ivan, how are you? Welcome, everybody. We are going to wait about 5 minutes or so before we officially start, because I know many of you are very punctual, but many people are not, and it's Sunday, so it's kind of one of those moments when everybody is barely getting ready. So, Ivan, where are you? Sherry, I know you're in Washington. We were talking with my friend Deb. She's there too. And apparently, you're not having too bad temperatures these days. You say you didn't buy the motorhome for your sister. She didn't need it. She already has an almost new, beautiful trailer. I know, but if she feels the trailer is too big for her, maybe the best move for her would be to sell that trailer and buy a smaller motorhome or something. I don't know. Weather is nice. Yes, that is what my friend Deb was telling me about your area, that it hasn't been that hot as in the rest of the country. I don't know where Mickey is. Oh my goodness, Ivan, in Banff. That is fantastic. Tunnel Mountain Campground. That sounds very interesting. I hope the weather is good. I don't know if you saw it, but the whole country here, everybody got roasted, like very high temperatures. And unfortunately, too many people passed away already because of heat stroke. So I am glad that all of you survived that. Obviously, you're in a good temperature area. And the time is 4:05. So I think it is a good time to introduce my guest today. Many of you already know her because you have seen her in some of my videos, and I am sure you should have seen her channel. I am going to write the name of her channel here in case you want to check it out. I would. I have. My friend, who is there? Larry and Kelly. You look happy. You're having fun. No, I'm not having fun. I am working my soul out. But thank you. I am tired. And when you're tired, you don't have time to worry too much. So that's very good. So I was saying that I'm going to bring my guest, Deb. Her channel is Nomad Your Own Nomad. If you want to, there we go. It seems like the Wi-Fi is not very stable. So you have seen Deb in some of my videos because she's a nomad, and you have seen probably her videos in her channel talking about being a nomad. But what you don't know is that she's an expert on, let's let her say it. So let's bring Deb up. Hi, Deb.
Hello.
So first question is, of course, as I asked everybody, where are you?
I'm in Washington State, where it's not hot.
Yes.
Close to the Olympic Peninsula.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
And you're in your rig.
Yep, I'm in my 2016 Kia Sorento.
Yep. That you're about to trade in.
Yeah, I'm in the.
Else.
I'm in line for a Suburban that's going to be a camper, and there's a builder in Ohio that does that kind of thing. So hopefully by the end of the summer it'll be done.
Nice. So you will have to drive back to Ohio.
Ohio?
You said Ohio.
Idaho.
Idaho.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, we'll have to go. Idaho. Good.
Yes.
And yeah, Sherry, she's very close to you. So you behave, because otherwise you will have Deb knocking on your door asking for fresh eggs from your chickens.
Oh, she has chickens.
She has chickens and a puppy, and she fishes her own salmon.
Oh man, we might have to get hooked up.
4 a.m. to go fish.
Oh no, that's not happening.
But it's fresh fish.
Okay.
And, I see in comments that Mickey and Marble, her dog, are at almost 9,000 feet in altitude.
Yay.
Perfect. Nobody's melting. Yay. So I was saying that you're an expert on one very particular topic.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Yeah, because I never know how to say that word. The other day I was talking with Stacy, and she was talking about different realms. I don't know how to pronounce that word. She couldn't either, and I felt so good. So
I think I know what you mean, but
Sherry says she has eggs. Yay!
Yay! Okay, we'll have to hook up for eggs. I'm a self-proclaimed expert, and I need to put in a disclaimer here that I am not a professional, and nothing that I say should be taken as professional advice, but it's pretty dang accurate, so I'll say that. I have been a student of psychology my entire life, starting from a teenager. And the most recently, that period of my life, I've been studying attachment injury and doing somatic experiencing. Is that what you were trying to
No, I
pronounce?
was trying to say trauma because
Trauma.
I always hear myself saying something else.
Oh, okay. All right. And how this connects with Adriana is, of course, what she's been going through lately.
Yes, but let me share one thing that I am sure you're not going to say, and that is how it started. Because when I had my meltdown and I made the video, because I really didn't want to do anything, on Saturday, the video popped up and I started getting messages from all these amazing people. And I got a text message on my phone from you saying, I hope you're taking in all the love. So you were reading the comments. You didn't make any comment, but you were reading the comments and you texted me. And it was like, what the heck?
You weren't expecting that, huh?
No, I was reading the comments and kind of sobbing still and going like, yeah, but you don't know what happened. That kind of thing. When I got your text, and now I promise I won't interrupt you anymore.
Oh, come on. That's just not happening. Please do. Well, I am a self-proclaimed expert on this topic because I have been attempting to solve the mystery of my own mental health issues during my life. And it took me till my late 50s to discover a reason that made enough sense to me that was like, aha. And that was attachment injury theory or attachment trauma. And that explains so much of human behavior around the world, explains so much of why I grew up the way that I did and am the person that I am, and also provides avenues for healing if a person so chooses to do that. So that's kind of the basic thing.
One day, we were not nomads yet. We were in Minneapolis.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time.
And we were sitting in my car and we were talking about this. And you said something I didn't understand. At that point, I was not even in the idea of what trauma means. And you said, I don't remember the exact number you gave me, but it was an estimate. And you said, I am pretty sure probably 95% of society has some sort of trauma, something.
Yes, some sort
and I
of
was
trauma.
like, right. And I was like, oh, wait. But if 95% or 90% or 85 or 98, it doesn't matter what the number is, it's a big number. Hi, Debbie Sue, how are you? You're on time, you don't worry. If so much amount of society has trauma, why I haven't heard of this before, and I have to come and hear from you in, what was it, 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
And the point is, from that date on, I remember you lent me a book that was incredibly difficult for me to read because I had no idea what I was reading about. And But we started having these conversations over and over and over again, over the phone, in person. And to me, it is absolutely fascinating how there is this huge disconnect between human beings just because we don't acknowledge the damage we come with, the
Yes.
baggage we come with. So, people, the live chat today is going to be not fun. Or
Oh,
yes,
come on. This topic is so much fun.
or productive.
There
Hopefully,
you
it will
go.
be. There
Productive.
you go. So, I was telling you that I was impressed by so many people saying in the comments of that video from last Saturday, I have lived with depression all of my life. I have been dealing with depression for 3 years. I I never write. I remember one person in particular. He said, "I never write, but this time I want to share with you. I deal with depression every day." And apparently, my sadness hit those people very hard, and still they had the enormous generosity to reach out and tell me, "Oh, come on, you can do it, keep going, blah blah blah." People are amazing, I tell you. We may all have trauma, but in spite of that, people are amazing, mostly in this community. So you know me very well. What would you say I have to replace in here? Because I am going to Walmart, like buy some parts and change something? I don't know.
Ah. Okay, so the thing with trauma is it can be caused by things that did happen or by things that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And in my case, it was things that didn't happen, and I didn't know that I could claim that label trauma until, like I was describing, in my late 50s. And
Can we share a
also,
little bit of what it was? So, because I know you, but
yeah, so I'd done self-help since I was a teenager, and every book, every seminar, every webinar, every DVD that I invested in, yeah, I'd get a little bit better. And then I'd think, okay, I'm good now. And then it wouldn't last, it wouldn't take. And at some point, I just got really tired of that. And I've never stopped looking, but I was just wondering, what else is there? Because I felt like I had consumed everything I possibly could. And I was dating a psychologist at the time who did EMDR therapy. And
okay.
I was
Someone
curious.
recommended that to me.
Yes. And it can be very helpful in all the various forms that it's in. There's lots of different
Mhm.
modalities that people have come up with. So one day I asked, hey, I'd like to try that. Are you willing to do that with me? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we did. And his particular modality was to envision a safe place and then bring up something that caused some discomfort. And then it was just supposed to magically resolve itself and never, ever recur again.
Wow.
And there's a part of me that was just not having that. And that's because part of my attachment injury is always floating in the background that things are never going to get better. And that's what came up. And I started sobbing and just had this huge reaction
Hmm.
that surprised me. And he's like, that is trauma. And I had no idea really what that meant either at the time. So, like I do, I went down the research rabbit hole and discovered attachment trauma or injury, meaning that your caregivers didn't provide good enough connection with you as a child on an emotional level to get your dopamine receptors activated in the manner that they should have, and to show you to how to soothe your own nervous system instead of just being very distant. So
Ah,
that's an
so
attachment injury.
if I have to translate that into my level of understanding,
Yeah.
you were not hugged, you were not kissed, you were not helped, maybe with your tasks or things, and that didn't help your brain connect. Oh, when I need help, I have it.
That's
Is
a
it
part of it. But the
okay?
overall emotional tenor or temperature or connection just wasn't there. And that was because their parents didn't model that with them. And all the
Mhm.
way back on the ancestral trigger train, that a good enough emotional connection or attunement is sometimes what it's called, where a caregiver or an adult will pay attention to what you're feeling and talk about it with you and validate it. And then because they're in a place with their own nervous system that they can be calm and help you process if you're upset, if you're sad, if you're disappointed at whatever
Got
age
you.
you are.
You don't have a safety net.
Yes. And you grow up
Got you.
knowing, okay, these adults around me, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know
Well,
what
wait,
to.
wait. That is you because you are very intelligent, and since you were 3 years
Or,
old, you saw them.
no. I can't even articulate it then. But on some level, you know that.
Ah,
Even as a 6-month-old, you
what?
know this on some level. You can't articulate it, obviously, but your nervous system registers, oh man, I am on my own. So
Ooh.
I need to learn how to be independent and not
Mhm.
rely on other people so I can survive.
Wow,
And that is part of the injury because we don't know how to connect with other people the way that we should.
that makes sense. Here, Debbie says, nobody, not 90%, 95%, no. She says, nobody gets through life without trauma. Most
Exactly.
people don't have the skills to overcome it. So we develop destructive behaviors either towards ourselves or others.
Yes. And when we're young,
I love the
these,
explanation. I love it.
yeah, these coping mechanisms that we come up with when we're young, they help us survive. So they are, semi-functional, semi-positive at the time. But we tend to maintain those as we become adults, and they're not functional anymore. Because we're not in that dynamic anymore with our caregivers. And we're adults now, we can advocate for ourselves if we get to that point in our awareness. And that contributes to miscommunication and relationships not going very well.
Huh. Hi, Katie. How are you? I was thinking of you 5 minutes ago when talking about uh, the comment you wrote. Thank you very much on my video. Um, Debbie says, I have been working in mental health for 37 years.
Ooh, thank you.
So I think, what if we bring her on and we have her participate? Would you like to participate in our conversation, Debbie? Um, thank you, Kenneth. I'm fine. The thing is, I would love to ask her what she does, like if she is a psychologist, if she's working on any of these methodologies. I don't know even what to call them.
But I'd also like to stress one more thing. With
Please go ahead.
my kind of
Let me tell Debbie that I
okay.
am going to put here the link. Debbie, if you just click on that link, I will be able to bring you to the conversation. I'm sorry, Deb. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So my kind of upbringing where I didn't deal with any physical abuse, any emotional abuse, the trauma that I had was what didn't happen. But also
Mhm.
people who did deal with what did happen, they
Mhm.
also have this missing what didn't happen. And
Yes.
that's underlying everything, but it's kind of the bedrock of the trauma.
Yep. I can
So,
totally see that in me
yes.
because for me, it was the violence all the time, but it was also the lack of support and kisses and hugs
Yep.
and the safety net. Debbie is here, so let's
Okay.
greet her. Choo, 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 choo. Hi,
Yay.
Debbie.
This is a first for me. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I
Good
am so
job.
excited to see your face because we always talk in comments, but I love to see faces. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, 37 years in psychology, or what
Yes.
do you
Tell us
do?
about what you do.
Well, I started off working. I'll try to do it really quick. I started off working in London in acute psychiatry.
Oh, man.
And then I did that for 16 years. I did community outreach also, did elder care, but mostly worked in acute psychiatry. This is feeding back to me. Is there a way I can shut that off? All I'm hearing is myself talking. It's weird.
We hear you perfect. So, if you can deal with the voices in your head.
Okay.
Well, maybe she's got YouTube on and StreamYard.
Probably. Do I need to shut you off?
Try closing YouTube.
Okay. Okay. Let's turn you off. There we go. I think. Uh-oh. There we go.
You're
That
here.
that
You're
worked.
still
Okay.
here.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yay! Debbie's an expert in StreamYard and YouTube too.
So yeah, so I was in central London working in a hospital where if you were a tourist from anywhere in the world and showed up in London and had an episode, they brought you to my unit, which was fascinating place to work because most of your patients don't speak English. So I got this opportunity to learn how to assess people's mental states without ever interviewing them.
Wow.
That got me interested in working in the therapeutic sense. And I don't know how many people know nurses, but as you go up the ladder in nursing, you get further and further away from patients. And I hated that.
Ah.
I hate admin. I can't do admin. It makes me crazy.
Also, it's not like in the movies when even the owner of the hospital is there helping. No, no.
You hit an RN level, you're doing 99% administrative work. You're lucky if you ever
Oh
talk.
my goodness.
So I didn't want any part of that. So I got an opportunity through the National Health Service over there to go and get a degree as an occupational therapist. So I thought, okay, you're going to pay for the degree. I'm going to do it. Yeah. So I did that, but I stayed specializing in mental health because I had already learned a lot in 16 years. And then I went on to out of nursing and into therapy and helped design a brand new therapy service in London, and everything to do with group therapy and individual therapy and all spectrum. And a lot of people who were coming out of the Middle East, especially women in trauma groups, women that had horrible things that happened to, and dealing with all that. And then I got needed to come back home to help my parents. So that's why I'm back in the United States. the decision to come back here. But when I came back here, my occupational therapy degree at the time was only a BSc honors degree, and California wants a master's, and I'm not going back to school for anybody. I've already done 6 years of university. I didn't like any of it. I thought, I'm going to take these skills and create something else.
Debbie, you can analyze me for free. Don't worry.
I've got the neat thing about having a nursing background is you have all the sort of the physical aspects. So the medication, you know what side effects look like. You know what, whether somebody's having high blood pressure, what to do about that. So you know the physical side of it. And then having the OT background, I know the therapeutic side of it that nurses never learn. So I took the two of those, and I found a man here who had started a home care wraparound agency. It basically means they do everything. They hook you up with doctors, they find you housing, they basically take care of you. And
wow.
We created this care coach position. And at that point, I just went and got licensed as a care manager, because you can do that if you have enough experience. So I had that, and then I went to work. Mostly at that time, it was private clients in the community. And then I got asked to go work with one veteran at the VA, senior veteran who was in the nursing home here in the Bay Area. And he was not a happy camper. The first thing he said to me is, "What do you want, Miss America? You better stay away from me."
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was pissed off. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to take his meds. He was 70 odd years old, and he had no choice. They just shoved him in there, and he was mad. So I had to find out a way to motivate this man to not hate everybody, to take his meds and to behave himself. Because so.
And some of them, just because they are men and they see a woman, they just don't like you, period. It has happened to me.
In the VA, that usually is the opposite. You usually got half a chance, because these men are all ex-military and you're a chick. Okay. So you got that going for you. That typically gets you in the room, but it won't keep you in the room. You're right about that. They want
I recently was in Paramp, and I got to a stop sign, and I stopped, and the guy had a stop sign too, and he stopped after me, but he looked at me and he went, and he kept on going, just because it was a woman, It was, Well, so in any case, I need to make a short break here to go to advertising, because I will throw this situation to both of you. And we are going to bring Sherry into the picture. But the advertising here is, I want you to know that I have loved Sherry, I think, from my first video. And I want to meet her in person. I don't know her face. She has accepted to participate, but she also made a very interesting comment. So I would like you to ask her questions or to comment on her comment, both of you. Sherry, this is what you have. I know you're old. I am old too. So what? So this is the thing, Sherry. I will pop up now a link. The only thing you have to do is click on the link. That link I put there is clickable, so you just go with your mouse, or if it is in your phone that you're watching this, click on that link, and when you do, I will have you here. Iris loves that. We are old, Iris. When Sherry figures that out, she said here, I had a horrible stepdad and several bad relationships, but I don't have time to dwell on the past. I'm doing great in my life, and I am a strong woman. and I love and respect myself. I love this woman. And I think she's not being able to click on the thing because I am not seeing her here. But what ideas pop in your brains when you read Sherry saying something like this?
You want to go first, Debbie?
I can. It's interesting that she's saying she had that she's had a difficult male role model growing up. Basically, was supposed to be a dad and wasn't. It sounds to me like she's learned to be happy without a man in her life. Is this what she's saying, or a relationship?
No, well, she has a boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Well, she's
I'm sorry I said it.
a man. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know if it is private.
I think as long as you're aware of your triggers, I think I talked to you a lot about triggers in a text, because if he presents with a behavior that is similar in feeling to something her stepdad did, she's going to get, whether it comes out or not, there's going to be resent there. It's going to get burning in the back of her head, because triggers link until you recognize them. They link together. But if she knows what those triggers are, you can, what I do with my triggers is go, oh, no, this is happening today. That happened. I'm not going to let this stupid machine up here link them together. And that reduces the current trigger down to something you can deal with today, the thing that made you annoyed today, not let it grow and get big enough that it's every bad thing that happened to you in life that felt that way. That's what you're trying to stop when you feel that trigger. But you have to know it's a trigger. You have to know, I don't know what it is, whether it's somebody calling you stupid, for instance. That's usually a really one for women, that their dad or stepdad or mom or whatever kept calling them stupid. And if they get a partner that says, don't be an idiot, it just lines everything up, and you're immediately going to not look at the situation, and you're just going to hear all the abuse you had all your life linked together. So that's, to me, that's what's important about breaking that chain and realizing it's a one-off.
I can see you, Sherry. I will bring you up in a minute. You're looking fantastic. Deb, what are your ideas about that comment? The first ideas, then we can talk with her.
Yeah. So similarly to where Debbie was going, our templates for relationships were formed with these ineffective caregivers, whether it was purposeful or not. And our template for relationships forever is framed from there. So no matter if we think we're okay in our heads, our bodies are going to hang on to those triggers and the unresolved trauma that we carry throughout our lives until we choose to try to integrate them. So we can think that we can think our way through and that we're happy and that our lives are great, and maybe so, but that stuff is still waiting for us for a redo in our bodies to link up.
I connect with her because the same thing happened to me. It was a bad mother, and I became a strong woman. But the way I see it is like I am a very strong building on a very weak foundation.
Our inner kids.
Yeah, when something like what happened to me happens, it brings me down to the parking lot in the 10th underground place.
Yeah,
I am going to bring Sherry, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am so used to reading what you are thinking. I cut you out. I'm sorry.
That's all right. And exactly what Debbie was saying.
I am excited about bringing Sherry on because I am going to finally be able to talk with her after years and years and years. Hello, my love. How are you? I don't hear you. Oh, my goodness. She said she's having problems with her microphone.
Mm.
You say whatever you want. I read your mind. I will be able to translate what you're saying. I'm so sorry. I am thinking maybe I can call you and we can try and see if we can hear your voice.
Oh, that's going to cause some. That's going to cause an echo and a
I think
reverb.
so, but we can try and see. At least to say, hello, my love, how are you? I am calling you, Sherry. I don't know if you're close to the phone. I should have asked that.
Looks like she is.
Oh, she hung up. Don't you hang up on me.
Modern technology, it works great.
We can hear you, yes.
Oh, there's a big echo.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I'll try to fix my microphone. I don't know.
But
So I'll hang up.
thank you for wait. Thank you for connecting anyway, because I love you, honey. You know that. Oh, baby. Well, you work on your microphone and let me know when you have it. Wait. Okay.
Can I just ask Deb something, her opinion on something? So I had a lot of trauma as a child, and pretty much when I had my major depression kick in later in life, when I talk about triggers and tracing them, I went back to before I was born, and the fact that my mother, because she had had 3 children in under 3 years, really didn't want me. Now, at the thinking about that, it was devastating because I was thinking about that as wounded me. I wasn't thinking about my mother as a human being who had no skills to deal with 3 kids in under 3 years, and she wasn't even 18 years of age. And realizing she didn't have the skills to handle us. She did the best she could with what she had. That doesn't excuse me not getting what I always felt like. I'm the youngest. The sister in the middle was 6, so she got all the attention. She still gets
The
away
youngest
with
got nothing, right?
Well, I wouldn't say nothing because I had great grandparents and I did have support, but the anger that came up later in life because something happened between me and the middle sister. And anyway, that's another story, but it linked all that. It caused a great big depression that happened for me, shut me completely down for 4 years until I worked through and figured out this triggering that was happening. This chaining is what I called it that was happening. But that realizing that my mother was a human being who loved us but had no skill. And when Adriana was talking about her mother being so mean to her, and I thought, I don't want to excuse your mother's, the way she was, because I know how that feels.
We can have compassion for them.
But if I take myself out of my little girl body, the little girl that wanted to be special for one day, and I just step out of that body and I look at me and my mother as just 2 separate human beings, that completely helped me get control of that.
Exactly. There's your adult self that can process all of this stuff, but there's still that inner kid.
Exactly. But it doesn't, when I get the same thing that would have triggered, which is usually feelings of abandonment or betrayal in anybody, I don't get those links anymore. I don't get that pain anymore because this person now is doing that to me because they don't have any skill, but it's not the same as my mother. I can separate them and it'll hit me for 10 or 15 minutes like, you jerk, now I feel bad. Now I'm angry, and now I'm angry that I'm angry, and you have to work through all that. but it really only takes me 5 or 10 minutes to get grounded again. I don't go
That's
through
great.
months of depression. And I really think that strategy helps. If you can look at the people who either directly abused you or just didn't give you what you needed, as
Because they couldn't. Otherwise, they would have.
yeah, if they knew better, they would have done better. And although they may have presented as know-it-all and super smarter than you and all, they didn't.
Let me share with you something I haven't shared yet. I think, Deb, I told you long ago about what you were saying about having compassion for that parent or that figure that didn't know how to take care of you or tried to but didn't succeed.
They had their own stuff.
Right. When I have done the work of trying to understand my mother and why she was so extremely abusive and violent and why she hated me. When she was born, my grandfather and grandmother, they both came from Spain, from very, very tiny, teeny little towns in the middle of nowhere in Spain, right? Those were my grandparents. And they were very hardworking people. And they wanted the best for their daughter. They were the same in that sense. So my grandmother worked as an accountant at a factory from 6 a.m. to noon, something like that. And my grandfather was a plumbing, I don't know what thingy, technician. So he started working at 11. There was 1 hour where my mother was left alone in the house.
Oh, man.
Because one was coming from work, the other one was going to work. There was 1 hour they couldn't cover.
And how old was she?
Since she was born.
Okay.
And the solution they found was to tie her up to the bed.
Charming.
And for 1 hour, she was left alone there. And in their minds, she was safe because she was not going to run away or touch anything. The point is, when she started school, she was expelled from 3 different schools before 4th degree. And she was put in a school full time, like a boarding school, and they expelled her from there too. And then she dropped out. So she never even completed primary school. So I have
No wonder
tried.
she's so freaking angry. I can't even imagine what it was like being in that body.
Exactly. I didn't know about that for years, but then I learned. And I have tried to forgive her, and I have tried to intellectualize the horrible life she had. And it still doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
I am a strong building on a very weak foundation.
This might sound really strange to some people, but when somebody asks me, well, do you forgive people that have hurt you? And I tell them, I'm not God, and it's not my job to forgive them. It's up to your mom's. It's up to her to find forgiveness with her God.
I like that.
It's not your job to forgive her. It's just your job to understand why she was messed up and to know you weren't the reason she was messed up. You were just unlucky to be there.
Yep. I recently read a book from a victim of torture in South America. I mean, we went through that in the 70s. And a military man came to him later decades afterwards. And he asked him for forgiveness. His parents were killed during the dictatorship. And these military men, he couldn't cope with that. And he asked him for forgiveness. His response was, I don't have anything to forgive you. You have to forgive yourself.
Exactly.
So it has to do with what you're saying. Yes. It doesn't come from us. We don't have to forgive. I agree with you.
I mean, I know there's this saying out there that forgiveness sets you free, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I can understand, and I don't hate my mother. We have a very good relationship now. That took a lot of work. But I don't have to forgive. I don't have to give up what happened as a child. That whatever I went through made me who I am. So I'm not going to give it up, but I'm not going to let it trigger everything in my life moving forward either. So you can learn to make your brain behave itself. That's always my point to people. This thing is
make a friend of your nervous system.
You can take control of this. Otherwise, it's just information going in. It really doesn't understand what's real and not real until you tell it what's real and not real.
But still, according to Deb, sometimes it's not enough.
It takes a lot of work. It takes years of doing this. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens every time you get a trigger.
Sherry's punching.
Every time you get a trigger, because you'll keep getting them trying to link up. So every time that happens, you have to go through this process of, nope, you're not going to go there. And you just separate it out and deal with the problem, and you don't let it link everything up. And it took me 4 years of doing that to get it to stop.
But there's also the layer of what's in your body.
Oh, yeah.
And once that starts to get integrated, like you say, it doesn't take as long to get back to groundedness. It doesn't last as long. And your awareness level gets shorter and shorter and shorter to when you're aware of what's going on, and then regrouping with your coping mechanisms. So yes, you can do a lot of things with your mind, but there's also the stuff that's in the body, and that's
and your environment, because you can get addicted to being a victim. It's addicting. So you have to watch that. Do you get are you getting some kind of a dopamine hit out of being a victim? Because
that's an addiction too.
That's a really bad habit that turns people into personality disorders. It's not a good way to go.
Yep.
And I used to work with a lot of teenage girls that had been sexually abused when they become young adults, and self-harm and all that sort of stuff. So, it's about teaching them to live in their environment today and own what happens to them today, and not use, it didn't go right as an excuse of what happened to you 25 years ago. You don't want to play those games with your head. So there's a lot involved with healing. One is literally knowing what your triggers are and keeping. So I tell people, keep the environment you have around you away from those kind of triggers, whether it's those kind of people. So if you trigger on people that are loud, like my ex-husband who was Sicilian, I don't go near people like that anymore, because I instantly want to kill them. I mean, I just they could be the best.
Cosa dice? Cosa dice?
So you have to know what triggers you, and while you're doing this healing and learning to get control, try to stay away from it, because you don't want to keep making it happen while you're learning just to deal with it happening every once in a while. It's like, if you're an alcoholic, you're not going to line up your kitchen with bottles of vodka and go, well, I'm not going to take a drink today, please. So try to get the drama out of your life. Try to look at the whole environment.
And that is what Sherry was saying. She doesn't go back into her past. She knows she's a strong woman. She's living in the future and today. Janice is participating and she says, my own personal opinion is that there is too much emphasis on how forgiveness is interpreted. I think it is more about the forgiveness that you give yourself, that you thought there was something you could have done or controlled the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's how we
that is
become people
very good.
pleasers, because we grew up in situations where we realized that the only way we were going to get any connection or get help or whatever in the situation is to be very good at reading the room emotionally and trying to be perfect and being people pleasers. And that's another coping mechanism that worked really well to help us survive as children. But as we grow up, not so much.
Yep, I had stellar grades in primary school, not so much in high school. I was already kind of, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I was
And
becoming
you're,
a Sherry. Unfortunately, I
uh,
didn't become that strong yet. I haven't
and of
become.
course, as children, we're going to assume that we are the problem. If the adults around us aren't able to connect with us, and they're gods in our eyes until we get old enough to know otherwise, we're going to blame ourselves for what we don't get. So there's
You
the
have
forgiveness
just
part.
you have just given me an explanation for how I feel. I never thought my mother was a god. I was sure that what
Yeah.
she was doing was unfair and I didn't like it. So I never saw her as an example. Um,
How about your
I
dad?
My dad worked so hard to keep the home afloat. It was difficult to even see him because he was always working. I mean, long hours. Talk about 3 shifts if necessary. But on my birthday, he had this oven, a wood burning oven to make pizza, huge. And he would ask me every year, how many of your friends are you going to invite to your birthday party? All of them. And we were 40 in the class. So, and he knew their fathers were going to bring the girls in because they knew my father made an awesome pizza. And so the fathers were always outside under the vine eating pizza and drinking wine while I was playing with all of my friends. My birthday parties were amazing, the best birthday parties I have ever been to because of my father. He was never there, but he always had something like that for me. I mean, actually, I realized one day out of the anecdotes that were told that my mother probably didn't even have any milk when I was born because my father couldn't cope with the idea that I was crying all night long. So one day he boiled some milk, he put it in a Coca-Cola bottle, those little ones, and put a rubber topper thing, and he gave me that, and I slept all night. So she didn't even have milk for me.
Or she
My
did, she didn't give it to you.
Well, she probably was not productive, but she wouldn't do anything or say anything or look for an alternative.
Yeah.
So my father fed me when I was a baby. And she would put me inside of a wooden box during the day so I wouldn't bother her. And she would say, oh, you would turn purple out of crying. So she was
Duh.
repeating, she was repeating the same thing that was done to her, and I had to take the whole thing in. Let's
Yeah.
read some comments. Janice says, I didn't have horrible parents, but there was emotional abuse. I am sure, unbeknownst to my parents, but they had childhoods that were less than stellar. My mother was survived the bombing of Hiroshima. Wow!
Oh my.
And my father
Wow.
survived being a black man in Jim Crow America. They were
Whoa.
shaped a lot by the circumstances of their lives.
Mhm.
Their ship's rearing was shaped on the circumstances of their life growing up and continuing forward. That's why when people speak of generational and historical trauma, people need to listen. I can
Yeah,
imagine that those living through the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s had a horrible time. Yes, they did. Yes.
absolutely. It gets passed through in our bodies. We can't just think our way through it.
Wow.
This is why I say nobody gets through life without experiencing trauma. Nobody.
Yeah.
It hits you from somewhere. It may not be your childhood. It may not. I mean, I have a cousin that I always called her the blessed one because everything seemed to go right for her for 55 years, and then her first granddaughter got brain cancer, and she got through it, but it completely changed my cousin. She's not the same person at all now because she
Wow.
has not dealt with the trauma of that. She doesn't know how to deal with it. So nobody gets through life without something.
Yep.
Hmm. So you were wrong, David. It is not 95%.
No, I'm talking about
No,
attachment
no,
injury.
Yeah.
I know, I know.
Trauma in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Different.
Hey,
Everybody.
Cindy.
Yeah.
Yes, in one way or another. Cindy says, and Janice agrees. That's why it's about giving yourself permission to move forward. That's how Janice understands forgiveness. Giving yourself permission to move forward. That made me remember. Have you seen the movie about Elton John's life? I
Yep.
think the movie is. What's the name of the movie, Deb?
I don't remember.
I think it is Elton John's or. Oh no! What is this song? Torpedo Man, Bullet Man, whatever. There is a song.
Rocket Man?
Rocket Man. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah.
And didn't we go to the movies together to see that movie? I
Maybe.
don't remember.
I don't know.
What I do remember is in one part of the movie, he sees himself as a boy. There is a boy there. And he sees the boy and he walks to the boy, and I am getting the goosebumps. And he hugs that kid.
Aww.
And I broke down
he's
in tears.
connecting with his inner kid and
Yep.
showing his inner kid, I've got you no matter what happens. You can trust me, and that's also a process to get parts of yourself to learn how to trust each other. Yeah, that's the part of the integration. That's a great way or a great place to point people to that's what we're talking about.
That
That's
image was so huge for me because we had talked about the inner kid and the telling your inner kid to trust you because now you got the wheel and you will take care of them. And I remember when I saw that part of the movie, I got it finally. So I can read anything you want about medicine or whatever. I understand lots of things, but it was only when I saw that scene in that movie. Oh, that is what they mean by talking to your inner
Yes.
kid and giving them
Visceral
support. And
example.
Adriana,
yes,
that's what
yes.
they call having a cathartic moment.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. So now you know what that means. When it just hits you, you get it. And it just opens up something you never even knew was there. That's a cathartic moment. Really cool.
It
And that you
hit
can't
me.
think that through.
No.
You have to
Can't
experience it
work
in your
that.
body.
Yep.
Yeah.
But every time I remember that scene in that movie, it gives me
Oh.
because it was so, oh, got you. Yes, I agree, Debbie.
It's nice.
So everybody's talking between themselves.
Can't see.
Cynthia, you're full-time dweller, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's tired, I think, because we are already in more than 1 hour already.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
Sherry says, I have a boyfriend, and I think I am kind of bossy sometimes because I didn't have a strong father role.
Eh,
It's hard to tell.
maybe. Yeah. Where we don't know details.
Yep. And maybe you're bossy because you're a Leo. I don't know, if we're going to the horoscopes.
There's so many lenses you could look at this stuff through.
Right. But maybe your stepdad was bossy and you learned to be like that. Who knows where it comes from? But the point is, maybe your boyfriend is what Debbie was saying. Maybe he's a completely different thing. Maybe he's super sweet and he cries when he watches a romantic movie or that kind of thing, and he's a completely different opposite of what your stepdad was. Janice agrees with me about
All
the
I can
Leo.
say on the bossy side is that usually when somebody's bossy, or even when I feel bossy, it's because I feel like there is no control going on here. And if you have had an insecure past, you want somebody to take control. And if you feel like you're getting bossy, so you're getting negative with it, instead of making a positive suggestion, you're just saying, why don't you do that? You're getting bossy. It's usually because you feel insecure and you want somebody to take control, and you're getting mad because you have to take control. You're not allowing that person.
Yeah. And that's where boundaries come in too.
Yeah.
And
So-
part of the people pleasing is we don't grow up understanding what boundaries are because we didn't have any. And it's very, very difficult for most adults to have boundaries. And you get angry when your boundaries are not respected, either by you or somebody else.
I like that option. You see, Sherry, maybe it's not that you're bossy. Maybe there are things that your boyfriend does that spark something in your brain and you don't like it, and you say, hey, okay, up to here. Fantastic. I like you. I love you. Everything is fantastic. But don't go there, or don't do that. Or you promise to do this other thing and you're not doing it. And you get angry, and it's okay. It's okay. I mean, at least you have the boyfriend. Hey.
There you go.
Cindy says some people call it a mother figure. Could be. In any case, I cannot tell you how grateful I am that you two decided to show your faces and talk about, I mean, just the bare surface of this subject, because it is
I could
huge.
literally talk about this for days.
Yeah. So I will. Janice says it is difficult to find partners that we can be compatible with. Well, yes, because they
That's
are never
why we have
perfect.
that's why we have a dog.
Exactly, or two. But
Everybody
that is
shows up
because,
with their trauma.
yep, the thing is, those boyfriends, they are never perfect, not like we are. So, yeah, that's easy to understand. So, in any case, uh, I will post a poll to see if someone else wants to repeat this experience, maybe with a specific questions, because this time it was. I keep being super grateful to all of you for the support you gave me. I do fall into the victimization part of the thing. Yes. Eh, Ivan says, at least you have a boyfriend. What's the consolation prize? The boyfriend. Um, you know, Ivan, you're the only guy I think in the group. So we should talk. We should have invited you to participate to see. But we have to come up with questions to. I don't know how you felt. I loved this conversation. The 1 hour went away without even noticing. So, do you feel like submitting some questions that we can dissect some other day? Think about it. I'm going to post a poll to see if everybody wants to get together again next weekend. And if so, please let me know Saturday, Sunday, about this time, whatever. Um, Let me know and we can organize it again. Okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Uh, Thank you, Mickey. Debbie, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's amazing what you have done with your career. Wow.
Indeed. Thank
And
you for being willing
thank you
to
for
do all
doing
of that.
that. Yes.
I
Uh,
I have to say that I think to do this kind of thing for a career, it's a calling. It's not a choice. It just draws you. And I basically grew up around crazy, so I fit right in. It's always
but you
interesting.
were strong enough to deal with that day after day after day after day, because it's not just, oh, I worked there 37
I mean,
years.
you
Yeah.
have to learn some skills. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Deb, thank you so much for drilling some concepts in my brain for years.
Ooh,
You can
awesome.
see I am still not getting anything. Uh, Sherry says, women rule, men drool.
Oh dear. Goodness.
Oh gosh, Ivan didn't have a bad time. He says this could be a good habit. Um,
Can I just
and
finish
then
on one thing I have to
everything.
do, Adriana? The next time you see that dude across the street at the stoplight and he does that to you, think this thought: at least I don't have to wake up next to him. That gets rid of all my road rage right there.
That's always what I say when someone is mean in general with anybody.
I have to
I
wake
go
up
like,
to him.
imagine having to live your life with that person. Yes, yes. Hey Nash, I don't know if I am pronouncing that correctly, but I like it, how it sounds. So sorry if I butchered your name. How are you? Sherry says it was a great subject. Glad both of the devs. Oh, sure. I didn't realize Debbie is the same as Dev. Oh, I
Yeah, that
Deb,
doesn't
I
happen.
always
I
tell
don't
you,
run into other Debs or Debras or Debbies very often. So,
but you see
how
how
you
I
doing?
am bad with English names. I don't even connect them.
Eh, eh.
Sherry says, they are so smart. You two. Look at that.
Thank you. But I don't know about that.
Nash, perfect. I missed the beginning. Was some guy not appropriately subtle picking up on Adrian? No, we're
Oh,
always
that's a whole
criticizing
other
guys.
topic. That's a
No,
whole
there was a
other
guy.
topic.
I have told this joke before. It's a bad joke, but it comes to the point. Um, let's suppose you get to that intersection. There are 4 stop signs, right? There are 4 stop signs, and 4 cars get at each of the stop signs at the same exact time. Who has the right of way, or better yet, who goes first?
Isn't it supposed to be the person on the right?
The jerk.
Ah, because they'll go first. Yeah.
No, the jerk will go first. It doesn't matter what turns it is. Janice says, I do. So I was in Grand Forks. There are so many stop signs. In every corner there is a stop sign, and people just keep going. They just keep going. So Nash says, Ivan, Sherry, Janice, Cindy, the 3 generations. Oh, he's just acknowledging people.
Oh, nice.
So I love being with you guys. Grab life by the horns when the opportunity arises. Yes, of
Every day.
course. Yeah.
Mhm.
Any last idea you have to close up?
And you can grab life by the horns
Mhm.
when you've, to a greater degree and with more satisfaction, in my humble opinion, when you've done the work up here and when you've done the work in here. And it's worth it.
And that is why you're a nomad.
That's part of why I'm a nomad. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I can say is you can't make everything better every day, but you can make something better every day.
Oh, I love that.
Something, whether it's your mental health, your physical health, a new dream, a new desire you're trying to work towards, you can move something forward every day. And then at the end of the day, just be grateful you did. And
Yeah.
that beats depression down with a big stick to feel that
Wow.
accomplishment. Find something. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Ivan says, wait a minute. If I am not the only guy here, I was definitely not hitting on Adriana. I had the privilege of meeting her last January in Q. Wonderful person, Adriana. Of course I am. Thank you for noticing. I mean, I'm glad your intellectual parts are working perfect because you understood. I am amazing. If you wait at that stop sign, everyone is going to stampede through.
All at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you
Well, thanks for
so
hosting
much.
all of us.
Yes, yes.
Oh my
It's so
goodness,
good
let's
to
do
see
it
you.
again. Let's do it again.
Hi,
I'm sorry I cannot.
Hi, Nemo.
Oh,
I can't
You're
believe
on
they've
the
just been laying
bed.
there sleeping.
I know. Did you drug them?
Huh? No.
Did you
They
drug them?
love the bed. They love the bed. And it's so funny because Lua loves me to death. But Mimo is learning, and he goes, when I am not on the bed, he takes my space.
Of course. As you should.
Oh, what is that?
That's a very sleepy Happy Jack. He's like, why did you wake me up?
I know. What's his name?
His name is Happy Jack.
Happy Jack. Go back to sleep,
Oh,
Happy Jack.
I'll give you a really quick funny story why that's his name. I went to the dog shelter. I was just doing where you go in and just spend time with different dogs so that they get less stressed out and they typically get adopted easier. And this one showed up, and his name was Alfie. And I thought, you can't leave that miserable name. Everybody thinks, what's the matter now? Why are you crying, Alfie? Right? I said, you can't. So I said, and he looked, when I first saw him, he had sort of longer, scruffy hair. He was all black, and it kind of looked like little dreadlocks. And I said, you look like Jack Sparrow. You're coming home with me.
I love
I immediately
it.
changed his name to Happy Jack after Jack Sparrow, and I've
Of
had
Nice.
course. I love it. Look at
yeah.
the
So he went from this really sad little dog to Mr. Happy Jack.
oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yay.
Well, Janice says not be anything but a slug. Yes, that was about the do something every day.
Anything.
Yes. Ivan says, I will see you again next weekend. I leave Banff this coming Friday. Hugs to all three. Yay!
I was in Banff
Someone
last
hugged
week.
you. Someone hugged us. Yes, Nash, those are the babies. They are taking a nap.
Good boy. Good girl.
Tomorrow it's going to be their first day alone for 9 hours in their cages. I got,
sweet.
let me show you. See if I can. You see the cages there?
Yeah. Those
Two
are great.
of them.
They'll be
And they'll
Two.
have each other.
Mhm.
Yes, they will be one next to the other. So 9 hours. Crossing
They'll
all
be
my
fine.
fingers.
They'll be fine.
They'll-
They'll sleep most of it.
I hope so. Mimo went into Lua's cage today. She's doing her dance. When she wants to go to sleep for good, she starts going around and around and around and around.
She's a nester.
So Mimo went into her cage today and he peed there. First time he does something like that because he's super nice. But obviously he's becoming a little territorial, and I have a solution for that. I told him I
Okay.
will hang him from his tongue next time he does that. So I washed the mattress, and of course that cage became his. So tomorrow he's not going to have a mattress. He's going to be on the plastic liner. I'm
Ew.
sorry. Well, they
Ew.
sleep on the ground anyway. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So next time when I put the mattress there, he will take care of it. The mattress is wet, so. But I got them 2 big bones, and they are loving. The bones are in the cages, and they want to go in the cages because the bones are there. So I will take them. I will take them outside at 6 a.m. I will give them their lunch and a lot of water, and we are going to stay outside until they are done peeing and pooping and everything. Let's see if Sherry corrected her microphone. Sherry, oh, the baby, she wanted to show us her puppy.
Cutie.
Oh, he looks like Lua.
Such a cutie.
Yeah, he looks like Lua. Hi, baby. The only thing I know is the other day he ran away and she had to run after him all across the neighborhood. So no, Lori, nobody will do that. But this is the thing. I have been spacing their time out, and they hold it. Lua can hold it for 24 hours if she wants to.
Mhm.
She drives me crazy because I want her to pee, and sometimes she doesn't feel like doing it, and she doesn't do it. And I go outside with her 1,000 times, and she doesn't want to. And today in the morning, when she saw Mimo peeing, and I said, "Well done, Mimo, yay!" She went and she peed. She's like that. So, and at night,
Okay.
we are going more than 8 hours every night, and they hold it. So, what I will do tomorrow morning is 6 a.m. We are going to be outside, we are going to eat and have water and all those things. And then I will bring them inside, and then we are going to go outside again, and then they will be able to go into the cage where they have the bones that they are very happy about, and they have two small pans with frozen water. So if they are thirsty, they can lick that, but they are not going to be drinking too much water, so they won't be needing to go to pee. If they are very thirsty, they can lick the ice. And I got Mimo some chews that have chamomile. We tested them. He sleeps all day if he gets one of those. So he's going to have a high and he's not going to even notice I am not here. And then, of course, we will go outside and run and do all those things. Um, Nash says, "Oh, yes, music. No, I found a channel
Mhm.
that is showing most of the day that program, Pit Bulls and Parolees. It's
All
a
day?
lady that has a shelter for pit bulls because she loves them and she understands they are very misunderstood. And she hires employees that are parolees because nobody wants to hire them. So she adopts the pit bulls and the parolees, and they work together finding homes for all those dogs.
Nice.
Mimo loves watching that program. He goes like, he's fixated to the TV, glued to the TV for the duration of the thing. Lua couldn't care less about TV, so she's more of a book reader. So I will leave her with a couple of books in the cage. I think they will be fine.
They'll be fine.
Yes,
Yeah,
they will.
they will
Jack
be watching TV. Huh?
Jack manages 10 hours every day. I just leave his favorite
Yeah.
YouTube channel on. It plays all day long while I'm gone. And he, my daughter always says, if we are reincarnated, can I come back as your dog? Because
Oh,
they live a good life. He just
she's jealous of the
yeah,
dog.
because he gets up, he gets rubbed all over, then he goes for a walk and he has breakfast and he goes back to bed and watches his favorite TV show all day.
Yeah,
Who's what's not to love about? And then when I get home, I do
exactly.
the same thing. I take him to the park and we run around. It's
Yeah,
fine. It's very healthy.
yeah. No, mine are going to be watching TV, and the TV is big,
Mhm.
and they are right in front of the TV. And I am going to leave the curtains closed so it is dark and they get sleepy. The volume is going to be high enough so they hear voices and everything.
Yep, they'll be fine.
So I think they will be fine. And they will be empty. I will take care of making them go, even if she doesn't want to. Uh, they will go. I will squeeze her until she pees.
All right, I gotta go.
Bye bye,
Mwah.
everybody. Thank you so
Bye.
very much for being here. I love you all. Take care, Sherry, dear. Deb is going to be knocking on your door asking for eggs any day now. Okay?
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye, Debs.
We off? Are we off? I don't know how to go off this thing.
Yes.